this is a good example of some of the stylistic and functional changes we've made to the UI. The whole aim is to be going with a much more simplified approach than with previous products like Arma 2 that Day-Z, the mod, was based on. A good example is, configuring the options and things like that. It's much simpler. So that's Matt walking around, and it's me on the camera. How you doing, Matt? I think you can wave, man. Did I wave? I can't even remember the wave key.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I can't remember. Okay, total video blog failure. I can't remember the wave key. So what Matt's going to do is he's going to show the clothing stuff. So, Matt, if you maybe here is he's going to put on some clothes. So if you just hold there for a second, Matt, stand up and maybe give us like a little twirl or something. So what Matt's done is he's put on a lovely red hoodie. What a beautiful item. So the idea is that there's many different slots of different clothing that you can put on, like hat and eyewear, face mask, hoodie. So Matt's put on a hat there, and maybe he'll put on some pants at some point.
But I don't want to.
As well, it's important people note, so on the ground at the moment, we don't have the on-ground version of the items, but that's coming out. So you won't see these like perfectly filled out pants sitting on the ground. They'll actually be proper pants. So I'll just get down and be like real cinematic here with it. Give me your best like model pose. Yeah, check that out.
So really, this was one of the ideas of Ivan. He wrote to us when he was in prison in Greece, and he wanted to include some areas that we really hadn't experienced before with Chernarus. And he thought that a swamp would be a great way to kind of mix it up a bit and add in a new, different type of playstyle.
Yeah, so this making Chernarus really fit the whole Day-Z thing has been obviously quite a key focus for us, and definitely having that in the map design is really something we wanted to have a lot more of. So there's a lot of these areas, and we've got huge plans. There's a lot of new areas, new facilities and stuff to come across that we've really wanted to put in. So this is kind of just the start for us, and it's one of the exciting things that we're able to do with the project. It's not just to add features, but also to add add new areas and whole new areas of content as well. Much work in progress. This is the first day we actually have it, but we've added Utes, which is one of the smaller islands, or Utes, I don't even know how it's pronounced. The smaller island that shipped with Arma 2, we've actually added it to the world, which was a request that came from 4chan. Am I even allowed to say that word on a video blog? I'm not sure I am. But so thank you, 4chan. So the idea is that loot can spawn like behind an object, like you see this can here. So you really have to get quite dynamic about looking around and trying to find the items. So it's really it's a totally different totally different experience. So I'll grab that because I really like my beans. So yeah, I think it's really going to radically change the whole way that that Day-Z is played. I think people will. Yeah, it is going to have a big effect on things. I haven't actually configured this building yet, but you can see we've opened up some of the cupboards so that stuff can be put inside there. People probably also noticing we've improved the way the things move and stuff like that. But having items underneath chairs and around tables, I think it's really going to add we can even put it inside basins and stuff like that. So it's really going to have that feel like you're actually scavenging an environment. The idea is that we're actually going to spawn all the loot on the server, and so when loot spawns, it'll spawn at the start of the mission, and as it gets cleaned out, the server can respawn it as needed. So that has some real fundamental impact for us in terms of performance, as well as helping us with anti-hacking measures, and as well from a gameplay perspective. For example, at the moment, you can tell whether or not someone's in a city by seeing if there's any live zombies.
Can I have a key? Can I pay for a key?
No, you can't.
Please.
And we're cutting that. guess without further ado, I'll rock into the demo, and I'll kind of talk you through it. So this is the standalone at the moment. It's the current development build, so there's plenty that's sort of broken with it. One thing that we've been doing, those who are familiar with Armour 3 will know that the team on Armour 3 did a lot of work with the controls. And what we did is we borrowed a couple of the developers from Armour 3 and assigned them to our project and asked them, what would you do if you could do anything with the game? So we've been looking at things like the tactical pace and things like that so that you can actually go around. You'll notice that the weapon is currently pointed not at someone. So one idea we're playing with, and we're not set on it yet, is that you actually have to hold down a key to aim. So we're currently developing two systems. One of the systems is exactly how Armour 3 operates, with some different tweaks and improvements. And the other is this system, which forces you to hold down a key. The reason this is our currently favoured system is because we believe it will help prevent the sort of kill on sight mentality and things like that. So that's why this is kind of our favourite at the moment. And we've removed things like negative mouse acceleration and all that kind of stuff. So we're really committed to improving the controls, and there's been a lot of work done with that now. What art would look like in a game if you let programmers do all the art. So it's going to be a little bit hard to see. I'll try and talk you through this at the moment. So what you're seeing on the left side, the beautiful aqua blue box, that is what's on the ground. So actually it's probably more relevant if I come over to the back of the car here. So you can see maybe we don't need art. So Yurka is one of our programmers in the Czech Republic. Now, Yurka is a huge fan of online RPGs and stuff like that. He plays a lot of Lord of the Rings online. So he's been doing a massive amount of work on this. So you won't be able to see it because of the contrast, but when that little box turns green, it actually expands below it, and you can see little items. So I'm going to put some items in the shirt that's on the ground there so that you can see me fill it up. So you can see I can like open and close it there. Now this little green panel, these little green panels here, these are only temporary, they'll disappear. We actually want to have it so that you actually drag and drop off your character's avatar, but that's we haven't currently got that working. So at the moment we've got those little boxes. So I can drag that off, and I can actually drag the shirt on, and then all my items are in here. And then I'm going to get a drink. One time you had one job, then one job. Okay, so we've got some beans there and some more disinfectant. I might be able to disinfect it. So let's say I want to disinfect that. I can actually drag over. You can see things I can't interact with. If I can interact, it goes orange. We're actually going to make the 3D model color change, so this is all quite just work in progress. It brings up a context menu, and I can I can craft it. So the idea for anyone who's played Space Station 13, we're going for that kind of level of crafting. So if I have a look around some of these buildings, hopefully I might find some more stuff. I'm going to take that off, and I'm going to put on a beige baseball cap. I guess another thing I'll quickly cover off on is the quick action bar here. So I can put my weapon away if I just push the one key, and I can bring it back. So we wanted to give a lot more customization. So if I remove that, how do I do that? Yeah, like that. And then put it on this key. I can then push 5, puts the weapon away, I can run around, do my thing, and then push it out. So it's adding a lot more customization. We want people to be able to do change things and do the things they want. So let's open this door, and I should do something here. Oh, a floating can. Look at that. I swear I didn't do this before. Yeah. So a lot of it is going to be exploring the environments, looking around and trying to see if you can find stuff, and that's really a significant part of what we want to do. Have people actually scavenging for stuff. So yeah, we've been putting in a lot of work trying to just make the controls feel a lot better. It's less fun for all involved. Yeah, and the idea of going through the buildings and scavenging is exactly what we want to do. We've got a lot of new areas in the map that we want people to be able to go through and explore and have a look around. I don't think this one's actually configured for leaks. Yeah. Oh, there it is. We've got some cans there and different bits and pieces. And definitely having all the vehicle wrecks in that, having loot items, has been quite a compelling thing that we found as well.
So as we've seen this, this is work that Senshi's done. He's done work on the road textures and made them look more damaged. We've got vast amounts of enterable buildings, and it looks more plausible. It looks like a real town. And we've got our industrial complex up there. So yeah, I'll just show you through our camera one of the new industrial buildings we've got. A machine factory. So I think we showed this in one of the devblogs. So as you can see, we've got machines working. I say working, machines there. We've got some offices with looting. And yeah. And upstairs. Yep, so this is scalable. That was scalable in Arma 2, I think.
Right. What's inside the building to the left?
Pardon?
To the left of the chimney.
Again, that one isn't enterable. That one is. Yeah.
I'd love it if you guys did some sort of helicopter mod where you can literally like be a helicopter cameraman.
This is a project that you started working on yourself a number of years ago. Obviously, it was initially a mod for Arma 2. It's grown legs. It's even had the flattery of being completely ripped off by somebody else, which we won't talk about. But this obviously is the standalone version, which you guys are doing on a completely new engine. Just tell us, what are the fundamental differences between this and the Day-Z that people will know from the mod?
Sure, I guess the biggest thing is that so Arma has a background as a first-person shooter for a long time. And anyone who's played the mod will tell you that there's a tremendous amount of problems, a tremendous amount of issues with it as a mod, because Arma was never really designed to do what we're intending to do. So we've spent a considerable amount of time now turning it into an MMO. So it runs off an MMO architecture, which allows us to deal with problems like scripting and hacking and all those kinds of things. It also allows us to adjust performance, having a lot of things occurring on the server. Yeah.
So let's talk about mechanics then. The in and outs of Day-Z are what really make it what it is, like mechanically how it operates and the sort of specific rules that you guys have. What are you adding to the experience that people won't have had in the mod?
I guess one of the biggest changes in terms of mechanics is the inventory system. So that was another thing we revamped as it was going to an MMO. We basically allowed it to create items as entities, so we're able to do so much more with them. We're able to do weapon customization, item degradation, and our crafting system, which we're quite proud of. So you can only see the very basics of a lot of these systems here because we've built all the architecture, but we haven't actually linked the content up and configured the content. So yeah, it's definitely one of the things I'm most proud of that we've changed is, the inventory system. And I think that new mechanic is crazy. Another new mechanic is the health system. Health and damage has been, incredibly revamped to be a lot more in depth. And we think that's going to help a bit with the kill on sight mentality. It's really going to force players to interact with each other,
So whereabouts are we on the island here? Is this, what type of landscapes are we talking about? Is there lots of populated areas, any military bases?
Sure, so this is actually Libor. We picked this village, one of our map designers wanted to show it, and because it's got a lot of representative stuff in it. So there is, we've got military bases nearby. I mean, it's a 260 square kilometer map.
It's pretty big.
And another thing, you can actually see the quick bar, which is the only UI you see on the screen at all. And you can actually see 2 maps, which are part of that quick bar. And those are actually map fragments.
Oh,
so now
okay.
you can actually find, so this is a map fragment here. You can see it's a quarter of the map. And so he's got another map fragment. And when you find these fragments as a demonstration of our crafting system, you can actually craft them together, which Matt's doing now, which is great.
Oh, excellent.
So then he ends up, he's reformatting his command bar there, and he ends up with a crafted together map. So, yeah.
When about to be able to play Day-Z Standalone in any sort of form?
Yeah, so look, we're really close. We're not picking a specific day, but we're talking about, a few months basically. So we're really heading there. But I guess while I'm saying that, I want to add a big caveat.
Okay.
And that is that people don't buy into the alpha unless they really want to be part of a rough, that rough early development project. A lot of people remember what Minecraft was like in the very, very early days. Same with Prison Architect. They don't need to buy the game straight away. They can wait a little bit, maybe till the end of alpha. They'll still get it at the same price. It'll only increase in price when we head towards the beta.
Okay.
So our alpha process is for those who are happy with all the little bugs that we've seen in here today.
It's
and
like
the big bugs.
community QA kind
That's
of.
right, community QA. Yeah, we're going for a very low price. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for joining
very
me
much.
today.
So you can see in here at the moment we've got some debug data up in the top right, which is telling you about the hunger and thirst values, which are based on what we've researched for things like how many calories a human would normally use, all that kind of stuff. It's also clued in with sunshine. So if your character's warm and has been in the sun a lot, then you're going to use less calories than if you're in a very cold and you've been walking around and haven't been in the sun, all that kind of stuff. And a lot of people have been asking me whether you can just double click or drag and drop. You can double click as well. So I guess there's a bunch of effort we've put into things like crafting. So you can see here we've got a bag of saline and transfusion assembly. So I can actually drag those onto there and I can create a assembled transfusion kit that can then be used. So I was making some Twitter posts about this as well before. You can find saline. We're also now creating the ability for you to collect blood from either yourself or from other people, and then if you keep that blood cool and refrigerated, then you'll be able to use it later on. The whole disinfecting thing's quite important as well. So you need to disinfect things, protect yourself from cholera, other pathogens that might not cause you immediate concerns, but if you have a long-term character, can cause you real trouble. I made a tweet a while ago about radio stations. So what we really want to do is have some sort of pirate radio stations going on inside Day-Z. So we're going to be putting out applications because we think the best place for it to come from is the community. And so we're going to be asking people if they want to set up their own internet radio station. And then when I click play here, I can actually go through and I'll find one. So this is a current Czech internet radio station. I'll go find one that's got some music. Let's see if we can find something a little bit more apocalyptic-y. So there we go, this is classic music. So I can run around with the radio on me. Now people who are running around nearby me can hear some lovely classical music as I go around and shoot zombies, but I kind of want something a little bit more dramatic. So let's try absolute 60s, let's go 70s, let's go 80s. There we go. Welcome to the 80s. Just like being a kid again. So if I put this on the ground, hopefully this will work with these speakers. You can hear it's actually positional. So you can really troll people very well with that, I think. One we've got here is, so this is a gas cooker, if you can see that, and this is a large gas canister. So I can actually put that on the gas canister, and if I put that down here, you can see the gas canister's inside there, And if I look down on the ground here, you can actually see the gas canister on the ground. If I just position that, so there we go, let's get it positioned. There we go there. So if I take the gas canister off, you can see the gas canister's removed from the thing. It's just on the left there. And if I put it back on, it's back on there. Same with things like the butane torch. I can put a butane gas canister on it and then light stuff and have a lot of fun with that. So we've also played around a lot with the with improvised weapon. Where are we? We've got something somewhere. Did I put a flare on the ground? No, I've got a flare here. Spray can and red flare. There we go. So we've also dealt with a lot. So I've got duct tape in here, so I can actually use that to attach this road flare to this can here, and I can actually create an explosive, an improvised explosive. Unfortunately, it's gone off the screen in my backpack, which is really irritating. But yeah, so we've added a bunch of new crafting items to allow you to create improvised explosives and all that kind of stuff. Oh, there we go. It's paired up here. So you can see there the improvised grenade. If I look at it, if I put it on the ground and have a look, I got a screenshot of it later on that's a bit closer up, and you can see the spray can's actually been attached to the flare, and you can then throw it and blow people up and that kind of stuff. The 80s music's really setting things off. I quite like that. Should probably get a little bit further away. So one other thing I want to demonstrate here is some of the work we've done with the weapon attachment system. So if I go into my gear screen here, I can actually put the silencer. This is still very work in progress. Notice down here as well, there's a little hand icon saying that that object is in my hands. If I put it away, the little icon goes away. So you can actually put any object that you have in your hands. So if I get rid of that and I put the disinfectant in my hands, you can see, unfortunately we haven't got the animation yet. Whoop. Hold on. That disinfectant's not going to be a lot of good against that zombie, so, ow. Let's not do that. Ow. Yeah, that was really suboptimal. So yeah, so the idea is you can put all these objects in your hands, and I'm just going to run away and hide somewhere. So what I can do is I can actually put that silencer on the weapon, and if you look now, you can see I've got a silencer on the weapon there. So our attachment system's quite flexible. We've got a lot of different attachments planned. All the weapons that we're actually adding to Day-Z are new weapons that we're going to be adding in. So you can see up in the top right, see if the foot damage value is actually increasing. So we actually have different durability values for different footwear, and different material that you actually run on will increase damage on either your feet themselves or the shoes themselves. So if I take my shoes off and run around, my feet will slowly get damaged. If I run on things like concrete, or particularly if I sprint, if I run on things like gravel and all that kind of stuff, then yeah, it makes a huge difference to the player. They end up, we're motion capturing it next week with a damaged series of animations that basically you're limping around and you're injured and all that kind of stuff. So to give you a nice look, we were doing it before. I'll actually slow down the time so you can see some of the animations, how we've put a lot of work into trying to make them look look better. This is a new player skeleton. There's still some improvements to happen with that because we haven't removed the old configuration that we have. So there's still a few more improvements that we can actually have with that. At least I've got rid of those zombies. What I might do is, how do I do this? There we go. And if I do a little hop there, you can see the hop is, we're pretty pleased with the hop. It feels a lot, the game feels a lot more fluid than it has been previously. So if you look at hunger there, you can see that at the moment my hunger is negative. So I'm going to eat a can of beans here, and you should see it go even further down. So it means that's how many calories basically below being hungry that I am. If I go in and do some hackery, using our development console here, and I will set myself up so that I am really hungry. Oh, actually, I'll do I'm a little hungry. How about that? So you can see now I'm starting to get context information in the bottom left there saying you're feeling hungry. I wanted to show some, these are screenshots because we haven't changed the way mip mapping works in the inventory screen. I wanted to show some captures. These are from our model viewer, so they don't even include normal map or specular. But of some of the new stuff that we're putting in, we're going for very low poly but very high detail. A lot of work put in them to try and make them look realistic and as good as possible, and low poly so that we get much better performance. So every item that we've got in game that was in Arma 2 is being redone. We've got a really talented bunch of artists doing things. There's a whole bunch of different ways that you're going to be able to combine them together. So this is an example there of a timed improvised explosive with a road flare, can of spray paint and a kitchen timer, some wires. You see the batteries there that you have to put on your walkie-talkie. Something I couldn't demo here is you can use those little walkie-talkies within a range of, we've got them set at the moment, 1 kilometre to talk to each other. Anywhere from 0 to 1 kilometre, it slowly starts fading out and gets less and less useful. We know people use things like TeamSpeak and that, but it can be really useful for like monitoring people and stuff like that. And this is, some of the examples of the IV starter kit and stuff like that. So what we're actually working on at the moment, this is saline here that you can use to increase someone's blood pressure if they've lost a lot of blood, but we're also doing the same thing with having a kit that you can actually collect blood from yourself, collect blood from other people, and we're experimenting with the idea of having a blood test to see, you can get this little cards in real life that you can find out what blood type you are, but a lot of this stuff is still, I guess, experimental. We really feel like we have to get the alpha out and start getting player feedback on where we're at here. Yeah, and there's a whole bunch of tools that you can interact with the world. You can go up to vehicles, remove car battery from the vehicles, that kind of stuff. And that's an example. So a few people probably have this actual map at home. So when you find a map, we want it to make sure, try and immersion, make sure everything kind of fits together. And that's an example there of the camping stove. These are the actual in-game models, the level of detail on them. Very low poly, but a lot of work has gone into the textures.
But for now, thank you very much.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. That's awesome. Brilliant. Cheers.